Greetings, programs. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews, where today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Generation Selects Megatron. Yes, we're looking at two of the three Generation Selects Megatrons. I've already looked at Super Megatron a couple videos ago. So we have a lot of G2 goodness to go over here. So we've got the first one here. This guy is based off of the Siege Megatron mold. And the design here, if I can find a picture of it, this is based off of the unreleased Generation 2 Hero Megatron repaint. So, yeah, we did get, G2 Hero Megatron. It's the classic, blue, purple, and orange insanity with the big air pump and everything. I think Europe called him Archforce or something like that, just to escape having another Megatron. But, yeah, in 1995, they were going to release another one, a repaint. This is what that repaint would have looked like, except now it's a Siege H-Tank. Nice little detail there. Not only is that a G2 Decepticon insignia, but the Megatron 95 stamped under it was a thing on the original design of this as well. It's just kind of a weird looking figure, but really cool in my opinion. The white right here on the hands is painted while everything else is molded. One kind of downside is there's seems to be a little bit of mold degradation, because this was the third time they made this mold. And anyone who knows this mold knows that these back, obvious hanging out feet are supposed to lock in place. Well, first of all, that part won't stay tabbed in on mine, but this foot, it does not tab in. Like, I know the trick where you flatten it out and, like, push in the center and stuff. It doesn't matter. This one will not lock in at all. There's also a messed up elbow on it. We'll get to that in a bit. But transform this guy. Go ahead. Pull off the end of the turret. Couple things you can do with this, but I do like to just go ahead and throw it into the sword mode. Make sure I get tabbed in on the sides there. Get all the teeth lined up. I'm having to switch between viewfinder and real life to look at things, so sorry. And then the way this guy transforms is still really cool. So you're going to go ahead, unpeg the legs from the sides of the thighs there. Very, very tight on at least my copy of this one. Open this panel up. Rotate just this piece around. It will try to take the thigh with it, but, as you can see, I put my finger back here to keep this part from turning. Straighten the leg out. Close that up. Same thing over here. Finger in place. Rotate this down around. Leg out. Close that. Go ahead and pop out the feet just to get it done. Rotate the hips around. Go ahead, grab the whole front, and eventually here it should wiggle free. It's on just like a million hinges that accordion out. Straighten all this out. I'm going through the transformation a little quick here since we are looking at two figures. Bring out the arms, plug them in, bring the camera up a little, finish folding this in, tab these in, bring this back. If they haven't come down on their own already, bring those down. The hands are very, very hard to get out on, again, at least on mine. Because they're painted, they're a little bit bulkier than they normally would be, which definitely gets in the way. Which also makes me hate having to use my fingernail to get them, because I have scratched paint off of similar joints before. And there you have your G2 Siege Hero Megatron in robot mode. And this is a really, really neat figure. You know, I already really like the Siege design, but, you know, this new, you know, black face, oh, that sounded wrong. This new, possibly racially insensitive Megatron face with the white helmet just looks really cool. I'm pretty sure it is a new mold even. I can't remember that part. But it looks great. You got his nice, you know, overly cocky Megatron chest tattoo. Nice airbrushing on the cannon that you can see better now. Fairly clean, you know. Yeah, he's got 2 treads stuck on his back, but compared to what I've seen with some Megatron figures, that's not much. And best thing you can do with this one is go ahead, take the fusion cannon off of his arm, and you actually have pegs up here. Why am I holding the sword? You've got pegs up here, so you can go ahead, give him the G2 shoulder cannon. Even though I don't think this Megatron necessarily had that, it's a G2 Megatron. I want a shoulder cannon. And you can go ahead, either give him the sword, or just go ahead and plug it on his back there. Worth mentioning, just because we are looking at a version of this figure, you can take the sword, plug it into the end of the barrel, and give him this ridiculous looking lance weapon that I love. So, you know, really, really nice figure. This elbow is messed up on mine, so I either have to put it there where it's held in place by tension, or yeah, it's just going to flop to whatever position it wants. That's my figure problem. Posability wise, the head is on a ball joint. You get a little side to side, not much though. Can look up, can look way up if you use that panel there. You can also shove his head down into himself. Full rotation, though the ball joint is actually at the back of the head, so it does make his head kind of shift side to side as well as you use it. Rotation at the shoulder, moves out. Elbow rotation, nothing at the hand. Waist swivel, kicks forward, kicks back. 90-degree knee, ankle tilt, heel tilt. So, a lot of posability on this guy. Really nice version of an already really good figure. I wish the QC on it was a little bit better. Although, again, that could just be my issue. It's still really, really fun either way. And then moving on to the other Generation 2 Megatron. This one is based off of the new Earthrise design, which is a very, very heavy retool of the Siege tank. So, you know, a lot of similarities, but there are some differences here too. Again, you've got a G2 Decepticon logo, which I really like. Something going on there. I've heard people say that's a kill count, but maybe, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Little molded, painted neon guns there. The whole Megatron height hanging out underneath, like you'd expect. Again, really cool. I don't remember if I even mentioned this on the last one, but yes, the turrets on both of these figures do swivel. Exact same engineering for that part. Transformation on this guy is a little bit more difficult, and it's a little bit more parts for me. Just a tiny bit. But you actually have this panel back here you have to get out while you're transforming him, and there's like never a good time to get this thing out. It does just kind of slot in either side of this, whatever that is. Try to get that a little bit more clear. So technically, you know, yeah, if you lose this, he's going to have a little bit of a hollow spot there. Don't lose this like I just did. Go ahead, yank off the turret. Turret is an entirely new piece that is very polarizing depending on who you ask. We'll cover this more later in the robot mode. And then go ahead and after you've got this piece out, you're going to have to bring these hips down a little bit, because now instead of the tabbing in right here on the side of the hips, they actually will tab in right here to the front set of treads, which makes the whole tank mode, you know, stop from being, you know, prevents it from being an H tank, actually just gives you a normal looking tank. And then the front treads are tabbed in to the side of the chest and to the end of this panel. So you actually have to open them up a little bit. You're going to get a sickening sounding snap when the tabs up here undo. But go ahead, do that, start bringing all this up. Go ahead and split the turret, get the arms out. Clearance on this guy is a little tricky in a few places, but start bringing those back. Oh, probably would help if I did his legs. That's part of my problem. I still have the holiday worn outs going on, so my brain is fried. Sorry. The leg transformation is basically the same, so in fact, it just is the same. It's slightly different panels, but they still do the same things. The heels snap in a little bit tighter when you open them up, which is nice. But go ahead, finish bringing the arms out. Bring this back. Again, these treads are tabbing into this panel, just in a slightly different spot. I apparently missed the tabs there. Someone tab in for me. I think we got it there. And then it actually does come down and like sort of clip over like that on this one, which makes the backpack hold in place much better. Which is really appreciated. Then same thing. Hands, fusion cannon, and make sure that panel is up all the way. So, there you have your Earthrise G2 Megatron. And, yeah, this thing is incredibly 90s. I do love that. As you can see, he's got, like, dark purple eyebrows, neon orange eyes, the frowniest of frowns going on. Oddly blank chest, unfortunately. I know a lot of people have said, you know, they couldn't put a Decepticon insignia there because it would just blend in with the purple. Do it like that again then. Or just put an orange Decepticon symbol there. You know, there's ways it could have been done. I'm sure one of the repro label companies, probably repro labels themselves, will put out a sticker to give him a, you know, chest insignia. But other than the blank looking chest, this thing looks great. Articulation is exactly the same as the Siege version. Only difference is there are now little clips here that keep this head panel from just flying up. So you do have to rely solely on the ball joint, which on the new head does actually have a little bit more range than the old one did, which is really nice. Again, you know, treads on the back. This is very much, you know, based on the guy we just got done looking at, so he's still very similar. But then you get to this mess. Now, there's a couple different things you can do with it. The default configuration You take this little peg here, peg it in on the underside of the turret, and then you put it on his arm, and you either give him a second gun or a wrist glaive. I do prefer the wrist glaive, though I really wish there was a way for him to hold on to it, like, in a realistic way, you know, give him a spear kind of thing like that. That would be way cooler if it was an option, but it is not, unfortunately. You can also, if you want, just take this little piece, and I've seen it just kind of thrown on his forearm here as like a tiny buckler shield. It's an option if you want. You can also just, you know, put it on his back here and get it out of the way. Or do what I like to do the best and just put it in a drawer and not worry with it if he's not in tank mode. And then you do also have this peg down here on the underside, so you can use this, and while you can't go like proper shoulder cannon, which you really should have been able to do on this figure, you can at least plug it in right there on his back and sort of give him the shoulder cannon. It will even, you know, tilt forward some, which creates a crap load of back kibble as well, but from the front, you know, he's doing the thing you want from G2 Megatron, so it's a step in the right direction. You can also go ahead and just leave this plugged on in this mode if you want, just for cohesiveness and not losing parts-ness. But overall, yeah, both Megatrons are very similar in a lot of ways because, again, you know, they're remolds of the same base figure. You're likely to run into some QC issues on the Hero version, unfortunately, such as the way that I cannot get mine to stand right now. Well, that's probably just me being an idiot like it so often is on this channel. It also probably doesn't help that I just put all his crap on his back. Okay, using the backdrop. So, yeah, they're very similar, kind of a pick your poison thing here. I'm definitely a much bigger fan of this ridiculous neon monstrosity, but I do really, I like this version, even though I know there's, like, technically no nostalgia you can have for it, since, you know, it's an unreleased design. But it still is just a really cool design. Technically, I don't have nostalgia for any form of G2 Megatron, because I missed out on all of G1 and G2 as a kid. I started even knowing about Transformers during Beast Wars. But, yeah, you know, either way, they're decent figures. I really like this one. That one, if I know that this is just me getting a bad luck of the draw on the QC, I recommend it more. Probably just going to say go ahead and get the Netflix version, though, because that one is covered in, you know, shiny silver paint and looks amazing. It is easily the best of the 4 versions of that mold released. But, yeah, either way, Megatron, good figures, a lot of fun. I'm rambling, as I often do. I will shut up, say thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.